Good evening, welcome back to Theme Park Rails and welcome to this new setup that we've got here in a fairly small room in my house. So we've done quite well with limited space that we had. We've added some new lighting, as you can see, a little Pac-Man thing there, and some lighting in front of us as well.
Voltron. I
Yeah.
don't know if you can see that, but
Probably not. You might be able to make it out. We've got a Voltron picture in the background there, which looks quite nice. We've got a light in front of us as well. Hopefully the quality should be a bit better as well, and also the mics. Yeah, so on mics. Hopefully you should be able to hear us a bit better as well, and the quality of that should be better too. But yeah, getting into the video today, we're going to be continuing with some reviews that we've been doing here over the close season in winter, and what have we done so far? 4, I think.
Colossus, Milo, Nemesis, and Valeria.
Yeah, so I'm going to be continuing with a 5th one today, and it's going to be a coaster that we have ridden most recently, actually, and that is Mandrill Mayhem. That's what it's called. For some reason, I'm going to call it Jumanji then. It's themed to Jumanji, called Mandrill Mayhem. And yeah, we went on this just a couple of weeks ago, for their Christmas event that they're doing. Check that out if you haven't seen it already. We go on Mandrill Mayhem, go on some other attractions as well, and check out their event there, which was good. And yeah, so we're going to be doing the ride layout, of course, the theming, and the overall area for Mandrill Mayhem. So yeah, we'll start with the overall area, and of course it's the first. Well, they labelled it as the first coaster themed to Jumanji, which we were saying before. It's a little bit like pushing the boundary, I think, because you could say that, but about quite a lot. Like Nemesis could be the first theme to Phalanx and things like that.
Yeah.
Or the same with Saw as well. So yeah, I mean, if you want to say that, fair enough. But I think you could say it about quite a lot of coasters. But the area is really nice, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's quite a nice area. It's quite small. They've got quite a lot of stuff around there. I think they've got 2 flat rides, a few like carnival games.
Yeah.
Like where you throw the balls and you knock some of the stuff down.
Yeah.
You get some nice views of the ride. Obviously, you got the big statue, Jaguar, I think.
Yeah.
But they've obviously that's in the movie. They have to put the gem in there.
You watched it?
Yeah.
I think I watched it a while ago.
Like put the gem in the head.
Yeah. And they've also got these, like, I think they've got a couple of these things. They're like interactive. Do you remember you like press a button, and I think it tells you what character you are.
Yes.
They got a couple of that. I mean, it's just a small thing, but it's adds.
I got the who did you get? Ruby Roundhouse.
I got some girl.
The ginger one.
Yeah. I can't remember
Ruby Roundhouse.
Yeah.
I got big guy, not the Rock.
Who's that?
I can't remember his name.
I can't remember.
The professor.
Coaster of a coaster. I've got Hyperia. She's got Nemesis there. Sorry, little detail there. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So they had these kind of interactive.
So they're going to have heard me swallow that.
Yeah. True. Yeah. So they got like a couple interactive games, which again, it's not much, but it's just nice to have. And then the queue line isn't like heavily themed, but it doesn't really need to be. It's just got quite a bit of landscaping in it.
It's just right, I think. It
Yeah,
suits what it needs.
Like the landscaping, sort of, it's like a jungle, sort of, which is suits the Jumanji theme. And then the station is actually really nice as well. It's actually it's like sort of similar, I think, a little bit to Hyperia in terms of the lighting. Obviously, it's better themed than that, but I think it's just got a similar sort of feeling. Obviously, they're both very new, so yeah, that makes sense. And actually, the flooring is very similar in the area.
Can't say I've noticed. Oh, you mean outside?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was a bit loud. Headphone warning, by the way.
Yeah,
Used
similar.
to speaking quietly.
Yeah, and yeah, the station's nice. Obviously, you got the taller air gates, I believe they're called. That's because obviously it goes through the station when it gets launched. And that brings us on quite nicely to the layout itself. Obviously, you get on, I think there's 7 rows on Mandrill Mayhem. 6 of them are facing forward, then the last row is facing backwards. Obviously, wherever you sit, you're going to go forwards and backwards. I think our favourite row, I think we both agree, is row 6. So that's the last forward-facing seat, isn't it? And yeah, we just like that one mainly because of the first element of the ride.
Yeah, I like the spike at the start. Obviously, the further back you are, the higher you go on the spike. So I think row 6 is just like quite nice because it just, no matter how many times we've been on coasters, it still makes my stomach go a little bit down the spike when you stop. And a few other times on the ride as well made my stomach go.
Yeah, so you get launched backwards, and then there's like this dip, you drop down, that makes your stomach go a bit as well at that point. Because there's a lot of rides that we've been on a lot of times, and like when we first have been on them, you get that feeling, but after a while, you don't really anymore.
Just goes,
some you do. So I don't know if that'll be the same with Mandrill Mayhem, more we ride it, next season or whenever. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I do think that spike is probably like my favourite element on the ride.
Yeah.
If I'm on row 6, that is. Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. I think so.
Yeah. And then obviously after the spike, you get launched back through the station. Obviously, it doesn't have the same kick as a hydraulic launch, but the good thing about a LSN is that it's a rolling launch. You don't have to stop. If that's hydraulic, you would have to stop. But it does build up speed gradually.
Quicker than I thought.
Yeah, it's got a bit more kick than maybe I thought it might.
Yeah, I thought the launch was going to be quite poor, to be honest.
Yeah,
it was quite good.
Yeah, and then do a series of just turns and little drops down, things like that. And then you make your way into the one inversion on the ride. Obviously, you go through it twice. And that is just, I think it's just a corkscrew, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. But it takes it at quite a nice speed, actually.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of hang time.
A bit relaxing.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of hang time, not as much as the Hyperion Stall, for example, but you get a nice balance of hang time and speed going through it. You go right over the entrance to the area of Mandrill Mayhem as well, which is nice. You can get some good off-ride clips, which I believe we have a video of on TikTok.
On the TikTok
of an off-ride
footage. Same as the Instagram. So
yeah, go check that out if you want to see some off-ride footage of Mandrill Mayhem from our visit a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, and then you make more sort of smaller drops and turns left and right before you make your way into probably the main spike on the ride. Obviously, you go round in this helix round the Jaguar. And then you get to the top, and if you're honest, it feels like you're up there for quite a while, actually. A good couple of seconds of like slowing down, then you feel like kind of stopped, and then you start rolling back. And it's not that intense, but I mean, I don't know where the most intensity really is. I think in terms of intensity, it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
Kind of wherever. I mean, I don't think we did. I think we only did like rows 1, 6, and maybe 7.
Yeah.
Because it was really, really, really quiet when we went. So most rows were empty. So you kind of get to pick when we went, which was good. And and then you obviously roll back, and this is the backward sections. Out of the two, I probably prefer facing forward, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Two.
Yeah.
Because obviously the first section you have to spike at the start as well, and at launch. But yeah, you make your way obviously around the same layout again, go through that inversion again. I mean, there's not much too different to say. It's pretty much the same, just backwards, of course. And then you make your way around the layout and you come back into the station. And I thought maybe it might be nice if you kind of slow down a bit, but you go back up the spike again, come back down, and then you slow down.
Yeah,
and back into the station. But obviously, you just slow down and come back into the station straight away. But yeah, I'd say it's a good ride. It probably exceeded my expectations a little bit than I thought before we went on it. I don't know about what you thought it was going to be like.
I didn't think it was going to be very good, to be honest. I thought it was going to be really tame, but it was faster than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's probably a family thrill coaster. Obviously, it's not as thrilling as the Swarm, for example, or other coasters. But yeah, it's probably a little bit more intense, if you like, than I thought, than I expected it to be. But yeah, we enjoyed Chessington as a park actually as well, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a really good park. It's a shame that only Mandrill Mayhem and a few flat rides and obviously the Gruffalo water ride was open. We do have a poll of the Gruffalo ride if anyone wants to see that on TikTok as well. I think it's like 4 minutes long. It's quite a long one, but it's quite nice to talk about that in another video at some point.
Yeah, there wasn't like loads to do, but it was a Christmas event, so I think if everything was open, then I think we would have been able to spend a full day there. There wasn't really enough open, not for our age group, to stay there a full day really. I mean, we could have stayed and got a Mandrill Mayhem. Like, we probably could have gotten it most.
Yeah, it was starting to make me feel a bit sick, to be honest.
A little bit, but I think most coasters would after. I mean, we must have been on it almost 10 times that day.
Yeah.
So yeah, we came way early. I think obviously when the park is fully open, I think there'll be enough to do because you've got other coasters like Dragon, Fury, and Vampire as well.
I really want to test Vampire out.
Yeah, it looks good as well. Quite a long ride, I believe that is. So yeah, well, I'm sure we'll get on that at some point next season as well, which will be good. And we'll do a vlog from that. Yeah, and in terms of the theming, we sort of touched on the theming a little bit, but I'd say actually it's really quite good.
Yeah, it is very heavily themed.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah,
it's a really good ride.
And you're probably up there actually with some of the top UK coasters in terms of theming. I mean, I wouldn't say it's as good as some, but it's it's not.
See, some
far
people
off.
say it's better than Swarm. It's not.
Not quite. If they're talking about ride experience, no, it's not. Theming, maybe you could have an argument about that. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I have seen a few people say the overall experience and the ride is better than the Swarm, but it's not.
The Swarm is
Each their own, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that pretty much concludes Mandrill Mayhem. It's not a particularly long ride, really. Obviously, if you didn't go through it forwards and backwards, it'd be pretty short. But yeah, I mean, it's good coaster. Obviously not the best, of course, but a little bit better than I thought it was going to be. We enjoyed it, and yeah, we'll get back on it when the parks reopen in March. Yeah, thank you for watching yet another review on the channel. We'll come back in a few days or so and do another one. And yeah, stay tuned for another video coming out on our top 10 roller coasters in the UK. And also stay tuned for a fairly exciting announcement soon, also to do with sort of the setup that we have here. Yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, and go check out some of our other platforms as well on TikTok and Instagram. But for now, that's it from us, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Bye.